If you were a manager, a boss, or an owner of a company, would you be a super nice person that would be understanding of everything? Or would you look at the bottom line and be accepting of, some normal things, but ultimately still be demanding of your employees, of your direct reports, and think, hey, if they don't do their job, I've got to, have performance reviews with them, got to write them up. If there's enough write-ups, then I might have to terminate and move on and hire somebody new, manage them, train them, and get them set up for success. What type of boss would you be? Now, my second question is, are you that boss right now? See, so many people get into real estate for a couple reasons. One, shiny things, right? They see some real estate agents that are doing really, really well, driving nice cars, going on lavish vacations, living a lap of luxury, especially if you watch those TV shows. However, they're also doing it for another reason. I don't have to answer to anybody. If I don't want to go into work today because, well, I went a little bit too hard last night, or, not feeling great. I've done this before where I've kind of dragged myself to work and really not been happy about it. Or, I just want that more flexibility or freedom that everybody says in real estate, right? So it's one of those few things, but a lot of it is around money and not answering to anybody. Well, so going back to the first question of what kind of boss would you be, you still need to be that boss because you do have an employee, and that employee is you. And if you just give yourself excuses and you negotiate with yourself, I've said this before in these videos, you win. But you lose by winning. You win the negotiation to stay in bed longer. You win the negotiation to not make your calls, not do that open house, not have the conversations that you need, but you lose because you don't hit your goals. So you justify so many things to yourself. And you say, well, I'm doing the work. Or you justify, hey, I didn't do the work, but for good reason, because I had this other thing to do, and this other thing was important. But somehow, if you worked for Bill Hornbuckle over at MGM, then you would have figured out a way to still likely get that done. Whether you leverage somebody else for it, maybe your significant other, or you did it on the weekend or in the evening or traded a shift, but you'd figure out how to get it done without putting your job at risk. But because you are your own boss, your job's not at risk. However, if you imagine that as a third person, let's say Alex actually employed Bob, and I was paying Bob an hourly wage as a W-2 employee. Would I accept that of them? And if the answer is no, then why would I accept that of myself? Why would I let myself get away with that excuse, negotiate with myself, and ultimately lose in the end and not achieve my goals and just look back and have to justify it, make myself feel good about